Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe.
Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. I am delighted that the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti's third Hindi edition of Jaiva Dharma is now being submitted before the public. This publication has fulfilled my long-standing desire, for I was deeply concerned that this book was not available in India's natural language, Hindi. The original Jaiva Dharma, written in Bengali, is a priceless ornament for all Bengali-speaking Vaishnavas. The author, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is a confidential associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Confidential associate. What is means confidential associate? Very close to Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu is Radha and Krishna. That is the associate. And I will also understand if we are associate. First line, first word. Right, underline, confidential associate. I give you pen. Take. Keep this pen. German pen.
महाराज जी काम करने से
The author, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is a confidential associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and is famous as the seventh Goswami. In the modern Vaishnava community, he reinitiated a powerful flow of the sacred Gangas of the unalloyed bhakti that Swayam Bhagavan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed.
Unalloyed bhakti, underline. What is meaning of unalloyed bhakti? No mix up, pure bhakti. Go on.
Thakur Bhaktivinod wrote well over 100 books about bhakti in several languages, and Jaiva Dharma has ushered in a new era in the world of philosophy and religion.
Philosophy and religion. To clear your philosophy and religion.
Yes.
Go on.
This Hindi edition was produced under the direction of my most highly revered Holy Master, Shri Gurupad Padma Om Vishnupad, Exoad Shri Srimad Bhakti Pradyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. He is a guardian of the Sri Brahma Madhya Gaudiya Sampradaya and has fulfilled the inner heart's desire of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is an acharya in the line of disciplic succession coming from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and is the founder acharya of the Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti and its branches, which are spread throughout India. By his causeless, unlimited mercy, inspiration and direct order, although I am unfit and incompetent in all respect, I was able to translate this book, which is full of exacting philosophy and profound and confidential truths regarding the worship of Bhagavan. I have tried as far as possible in this translation to preserve the lofty philosophy and highly intricate and subtle moods concerning the analysis of Ras. I endeavored to the best of my ability to express these things in clear and easily understandable language. It is for the readers to see how successful I have been in this attempt. Whatever value there is in this effort is exclusively due to the credit of the lotus feet of Sri Guru. The Hindi translation of Jaiva Dharma was first published in the monthly magazine Sri Bhagavad Patrika in a series of articles spanning 6 years. The faithful readers greatly appreciated this and repeatedly begged me to publish it as a separate book. Our second edition of Jaiva Dharma came out in book form for the benefit of the faithful Hindi-speaking public and for the delight of the pure devotees. This edition was very quickly exhausted, so a third edition was presented to fulfill the deep interest and demand of the readers. My most revered Holy Master Sri Acharya Dev has given an elaborate introduction on his editorial preface detailing the unique characteristics of the book, its author and other important topics. However, I cannot restrain my enthusiasm to add a few words of my own to this subject. I beg the readers to study the introduction with serious attention before reading this book, and I have firm faith that by doing so, they will obtain clear guidance as to how to enter into the truth of the Supreme Reality.
Truth of Supreme Reality. Underline this.
The word Jaiva Dharma refers to the Dharma of the Jiva, or the constitutional function of the living being. From external appearances,
Jiva Dharma, underline this. Jiva Dharma.
Jaiva Dharma refers to the Dharma of the Jiva, or the constitutional function of the living being. From external appearances, human beings seem to have different religions according.
Religion.
From external appearances, human beings seem to have different religions according to classifications of country, caste, race, and so on. The constitutional natures of human beings, animals, birds, worms, insects, and other living entities also seem to be different varieties. But in reality, all living beings throughout the universe have only one eternal, immutable Dharma. Jaiva Dharma gives a compelling and thorough description of this Dharma, which is eternal and which applies everywhere, at all times, and to all living beings.
Jai Ho, this is the underline this.
Which is eternal and which applies everywhere, at all times, and to all living beings.
To all religious men. Other religion also.
Also for the animals. For all jivas.
Human. Animals will not understand.
He is mentioned to all living beings.
Our animal not understand.
No,
But we are, if we are not understanding, we are also animals.
Yes.
right.
This logic comes like this.
This book is filled with a highly concise form of the essence of the exceedingly deep and confidential topics of the Vedas, Vedanta, Upanishads, Srimad Bhagavatam, Puranas, Brahma Sutra, Mahabharata, Itihasas, Pancharatra, Satsandarbhas, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjval Nimalani, and other ideal shastras. Furthermore, it is written in the form of a tasteful, entertaining, and easily comprehensible novel. Jaiva Dharma gives an unprecedented and poignant analysis of many vital topics such as Bhagavad Tattva, the truth regarding Sri Bhagavan.
Yeah, right. Underline.
Jiva Tattva, the truths regarding the Jivas. Shakti Tattva, the truths regarding Bhagavan's potencies. The conditioned and liberated states of the Jivas. A comparative...
Underline. Conditioned and liberated state.
Conditioned and liberated states of the Jivas.
Which is the my condition? And liberated, which how does liberated person look like? Go on.
A comparative study of the nature of karma, jnana and bhakti.
Yeah. The underline.
A conclusive and meaningful discussion of the distinguishing characteristics of regulated and spontaneous devotional service,
Yeah.
Vaidhi and Raganuga Bhakti.
Yeah. You see? Nobody said this. One is Vaidhi, one is Raganuga. Vaidhi means rule regulation. And one is Raganuga. Yeah, go on.
And the supreme excellence of Sri Nam Bhajan.
Yeah, underline.
All these topics are discussed in terms of Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan.
You see, wow, underline. Sambandha is the relation. Abhideha means how much you are aware in material or spiritual.
Abhideya is also the way.
Abhideha means body and nobody. Nobody means soul. This is the body and soul together. Deha means body and my senses and mind.
Yeah.
This is Deha.
Deha.
And Abhideha means you have a body, but you are living in the soul consciousness, means your mind and body and senses is less disturbing. This is Abhideha stage.
And it also means what is my practice or what
Yeah.
I'm doing
Living in
in this.
the spiritual life,
Yeah.
not with material.
And Prayojan?
Prayojan means where you are, you will do that. You will plan to do that. If you are in Jaiva Dharma, you will do to relate with the Savior. And if you are in the material, you will want to enjoy with your senses. Prayojan is based on your consciousness. Right or not?
Yeah. I heard the
क्या
explanation.
देवी क्या बना रही हो? हाँ? किया लौकी सब्जी आलू का साफ किया ऐसे खाली लौकी मीठा खट्टा देना होता है और हमको खिचड़ी बनाओ है पेट मेरा खराब है दही खिचड़ी
That Sambandha is the connection, the relation.
right
That Abhideya is the way and the practice, and Prayojan is the goal.
yeah.
What is the...
Where I will live, I will Abhideha. I will Sambandha I will do with physical body and I will do the Sambandha with the spiritual body.
Yes.
What is higher?
Yes.
Physical Sambandha we have experience. That is, today is there, tomorrow it will not. But a spiritual Sambandha will never go. because it's not based on material body, not based on the mind and senses. It's based heart to heart. That is the spiritual sambandha. And one is a deha sambandha. Physical deha means physical sambandha. And avideha means out of this.
Yes.
Understand?
Prior to the Bengali edition of Jaiva Dharma, published by the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, all editions of Jaiva Dharma published by Bhakti, by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and the subsequent Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas in their line have included the section on Ras Vichar.
Huh?
All other editions have included the section on Ras Vichar.
Underline this. What is Rasa Vichar? English is there?
No.
Rasa Vichar. Rasa means juicy. To be a juicy, this is they include this, all the acharyas. You want to make me juicy or dry? They all want to be a juicy. On the line with red. This. Yeah, lots of vichar. Juicy means more intense.
There are two vichars. One is Tattva Vichar and one is Ras Vichar. Tattva Vichar means the point of view from the philosophical truth. And Ras Vichar means the point of view from the mellow, from the feelings, from the sweetness. So you can watch everything philosophically, or you can watch things from the feelings, from the sweetness, from the Ras.
Yeah, oh. Narayan Maharaj is writing. Writer. Go on.
However, for specific reasons, our most revered Holy Master, Sri Gurupad Padma, published an edition containing only the first two sections of the book, which deal respectively with Nitya Naimitic Dharma and Sambandha Abhideya and Prayoja.
Yeah.
He did not publish...
Underline this, blue. Paul, my spiritual master, come stai?
Come stai, Gurudev?
Bene. Bene.
DNA? What is? Good,
Bene.
good. DNA?
Yeah. And where is Maharaj?
Darsa.
Wow. Understand what you are doing, Tattva Vichar or Rasa Vichar? I make the red point. This book I am making for you. Yeah. Go on.
So for specific reasons, Gurudev was dealing with Nitya Naimitic Dharma and Sambandha Abhideya and Prayoja. He did not publish the third part of the book, which deals with Ras Vichar. He didn't. A detailed consideration of the confidential transcendental mellows of Bhakti.
You know publish this.
We would just like to have this.
For specific reasons he did that.
Yeah.
Maybe he will say why he didn't give the Ras Vichar. Later, however, when Sri Keshav Gaudiya Math
Yahoo.
Jaiva Dharma.
Yahoo.
Jaiva.
Good?
Yes.
Healthy? Yeah.
Yes, better.
Thank you. Jaiva Dharma?
Jaiva Dharma. It's good.
Okay.
Read this paragraph. Tat rasa vichar. Read.
All editions of Jaiva Dharma published by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and the subsequent Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas in their line have included the section on Ras Vichar. However, for specific reasons, our most revered Holy Master, Sri Gurupad Padma, published an edition containing only the first two sections of the book, which deal respectively with Nityanamitic Dharma and Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan. He did not publish the third part of the book, which deals with Ras Vichar,
Wow.
which is a detailed consideration of the confidential, transcendental mellows of Bhakti. Later, however, when Sri Keshav Gaudiya Math was in the process of publishing its Hindi edition from Mathura, Srila Gurupad Padma personally reviewed the entire book. In his introduction to this edition, he very clearly instructed the readers to first examine their eligibility or lack thereof, and then cautiously proceed with their study of the third section dealing with Ras Vichar. Therefore, when all three parts of the book were published together in the second edition, I did not feel that it was necessary to give any further clarification. At the time of writing Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita,
So there are three sections in this book. Tattva Vichar, 1, 2, and Rasa Vichar is third one.
At the time of writing Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, a doubt arose in the heart of Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami regarding whether he should present the discussion on Ras Vichar. He questioned whether or not to include this topic in the book, lest ineligible people may read it to their detriment. My God, this is very difficult English.
Heißt detriment?
They will not understand.
Yes. Finally, he resolved to include Ras Vichar in the book, expressing this in his own words in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela. The esoteric and confidential conclusions regarding the amorous pastimes of Rasaraj, Sri Krishna and the Gopis, who are the embodiments of Mahabhav, are not fit to be disclosed to the common ordinary man.
Oh. Understand?
Yes.
We are common and ordinary.
But next verse he's writing, but if they not are revealed, no one can enter into this topic. I shall therefore describe these topics in a concealed manner, so that only Rasika Bhaktas will be able to understand them.
No other will understand it.
And he clearly says, whereas ineligible fools will not understand.
Huh?
So that only Rasika Bhaktas will be able to understand them, whereas fools will not.
No Rashika, they don't understand.
Underline this. They say Jaiva Dharma. Jaiva Dharma is the rasa vichar. I will prove you. Go on.
Yes, real Jaiva Dharma is Rasa
Yes.
Vichar. Yes, yes.
No tattva is there.
All discussion leading to Rasa.
Oh, rasa vichara.
Yes, yes.
Go on, I will show you.
Anyone who has established Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu in their hearts will attain transcendental bliss by hearing these conclusions.
Yeah.
This entire doctrine is as sweet as newly grown mango sprouts, which can only be relished by the devotees who are compared to cuckoos.
Cuckoos. If they are not cuckoos, they cannot taste this. Cuckoos, they know the taste of mango. They can taste.
The camel-like non-devotees cannot possibly gain admittance into these topics.
Underline this.
Again, please.
Camel-like.
No.
The camel-like non-devotees cannot possibly gain admittance into these topics.
And who will understand?
Therefore, there is a special jubilation in my heart.
No. So who will cuckoos? That also underline.
This entire doctrine is as sweet as newly grown mango sprouts, which can only be relished by the devotees who are compared to cuckoos. The camel-like non-devotees cannot possibly gain admittance into these topics. Therefore, there is a special jubilation in my heart. It is always inappropriate to reveal confidential Vraj Ras topics before general people. However, there is every possibility that this sacred mystery will disappear if it is not thoroughly explained.
Yeah, underline this. If you say I will underline all books, it will disappear only in Tattva Vichar. All will become dry.
So that means it's not good to speak confidential Vraj Ras in general. But if it's not done, if you not talk about, then maybe this will vanish and nobody will talk about. So this is
And your heart will become like a stone.
Although neem and mango trees may be present together in the same garden, a crow will sit on a neem tree and taste its bitter fruits, whereas the cuckoo, who has discrimination taste, will sit on the mango tree and savor its sweet sprouts and blossoms.
Underline all. Yeah, this is the nature of the mango and cuckoo.
We all want to be like cuckoo.
No, I cannot say this. We have to decide what we want to become. Neem tree or mango tree. 2 trees. One is Tattva Vichar, one is Rasa Vichar. Neem tree is like a Tattva Vichar.
Neem, very bitter. No?
Bitter.
Gurudev, philosophy is Tattva Vichar.
Yeah.
You know, philosophy.
Yes.
And Rasa Vichar.
Rasa Vichar is like Leela. Like Virapax Manjari, Radha Rasa Sudani.
Yes.
Consequently, it is proper to present Ras Vichar.
Yeah. Red and blue
Red.
both.
Red and blue.
And blue. Another color you also put it.
Everything, every color.
More important.
Narayan Maharaj is.
Yes, yes, yes.
Until now, the world of Hindi literature has lacked such an exceptionally fine and comprehensive book which acquaints one through comparative analysis with the highest philosophical conclusions and super excellent methods of worship of Vaishnava Dharma. Jaiva Dharma has fulfilled this need. It will usher in a new era in the philosophical and the religious worlds, and particularly in the world of Vaishnavism.
Philosophical and religious. Right. क्या राधे
राधे राधे
सब ठीक चल रहा है ना
वो वाला पेंट वो बाहर घुसाना दे रहा है
बाहर तो एक ही रंग होना होगा
Maharaj is finished.
अरे दिनेश
Shri Keshavi Gaudiya Math, Mathura, UP, 1989.
माय गॉड देखो सिंघाड़ा ले लो 2 किलो और खीरा पतला पतला दे दो 10
रसा भी चले तो देरी
10 को खीरा लो
10 कीड़ा
हाँ पतला पतला एकदम एकदम fresh water. That.
To give the Ras Vichar.
Now I say read from beginning. Give to him to read. Then what you want to see?
No. I want to see like.
I want to show something.
Okay.
You see what you see, that is your business. But I want to see you something.
Okay.
Rasa vichar. I know rasa, so I show you.
Okay.
Chapter 1.
Yeah.
The eternal and the temporary dharmas of the jiva. Within this universe, the middle planetary system, shaped like a lotus flower, is known as Bhumandala. In Bhumandala, there are 7 islands which extend outward in concentric circles like the whorl of a lotus flower. At the center of this whorl, there is an island of Jambudvip, which is super excellent among all the places in Bhumandala. In Jambudvip, the land of Bharatvarsha is eminent. Within Bharatvarsha, the topmost place is Gauda Bhumi. Within Gauda Bhumi, the 9 islands region of Sri Navadvip Mandala is supremely distinguished. And in one area of Sri Navadvip Mandala, a beautiful settlement named Sri Godrum is eternally situated on the eastern bank of the Bhagirathi river. In ancient times, many stalwart practitioners of bhajan lived in the various places of Sri Godrum. It was here that Sri Surabhi, a cow of divine origin, previously worshipped the Supreme Lord Bhagavan Sri Gaurachandra in her own kunja and grove shaded with fragrant flowering creepers.
Kunja, underline kunja, red. Kunja is not a tattva. Go on.
At a little distance from this kunja is Pradyumna Kunja. Here, Shri Prem Das Paramahansa Babaji, a Shiksha disciple of Pradyumna Brahmachari, the best among the associates of Sri Gaurachandra, now lived in a kutir, covered with vines and dense foliage, and spent his time constantly immersed in the divine rapture of bhajan.
You see, the beginning was philosophy. Now come rasa vichar. When the kunja comes, go on.
Where bhajan is happening.
Yes. Go on.
Sri Premadas Babaji was a refined scholar and was fully conversant with all the conclusions of the Shastras.
Concluded. Shastras is all there, philosophy. We know conclude. We know one side. He conclude all the philosophy. And he is living there in the kunja.
He had taken shelter of the forest of Sri Godrum with single-minded conviction knowing it to be non-different in essence from Sri Nandagram. As a daily routine, Babaji Maharaj chanted 200,000 holy names and offered hundreds of obeisances to all Vaishnavas. Maintaining his existence by accepting alms from the houses of the cowherdmen had become one of the regulative principles in his life. Whenever he found a spare moment from these activities, he spent his time not in idle gossip, but in reading the book Sri Prem Vivarta by Sri Jagadananda, a confidential associate of Sri Gaurasundar.
You have to speak book.
At such times, neighboring Vaishnavas gathered and listened with great devotion as Babaji read with tear-filled eyes. And why would they not come to hear? This divine treatise, Prem Vivarta, is filled with all the conclusions of Ras, the condensed liquid essence of integrated transcendental emotions.
This is Rasa Tattva.
Moreover, the Vaishnavas were inundated by the waves of Babaji's sweet, resonant voice, which extinguished the venomous fire of sensuality in their hearts like a shower of nectar. One afternoon, having completed his chanting of Sri Harinam, Babaji Mahasaya sat reading Sri Prem Vivarta in his bower, shaded by vines of Madhavi and Jasmine, and became immersed in an ocean of transcendental emotions. Just then, a mendicant in the renounced order of life approached him, fell at his feet, and stayed prostrated in obeisance for a considerable time. At first, Babaji Mahasaya remained absorbed in the bliss of transcendental ecstasy, but after a while, when he returned to external consciousness, he beheld the sannyasi Mahatma lying before him. Considering himself more worthless and insignificant than a blade of grass, Babaji fell in front of the sannyasi and began to weep, exclaiming, "O Chaitanya, O Nityananda, please be merciful upon this fallen wretch." The sannyasi Thakur then said, "Prabhu, I am extremely vile and destitute. Why do you mock me like this?" The sannyasi proceeded to take the dust of Babaji Mahasaya's feet upon his head and then sat before him. Babaji Mahasaya offered him a seed of banana tree bark and sitting beside him, spoke in a voice
What
choked
is this?
with love.
Anyone comes to you, always offer asana to them.
Give a seed.
This is Gurudev, my teaching. You see this. He can touch his feet, he wants to surrender him, but Babaji Mahasaya is giving banana leaf to sit. This is the first Vaishnava etiquette. If you not watch, you cannot develop in Ragava. Underline this. First, give banana. We don't care. Somebody comes, we never care, but we have to care.
Offered him a seed of banana tree bark and sitting beside him, spoke in a voice choked with
Beside
love.
him.
And spoke with a voice choked with love. Prabhu, what service may this worthless person can offer you?
What I can serve you?
The sannyasi set aside his begging bowl, and with folded hands he began to speak. O Master, I am most unfortunate. I have spent my time in Kashi and other holy places, debating the analytical conclusions of the religious texts, such as Sankhya, Patanjala, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa, and
all philosophy.
and exhaustively studying the Upanishads and other Vedanta Shastras. About 12 years ago, I accepted the renounced order of life from Sri Satchidananda Saraswati. Having accepted the staff and the renounced order, I traveled to all the holy places, and wherever I went in India, I kept the company of sannyasis who adhere to the doctrine of Sri Shankara. In due course of time, I passed beyond the first three stages of the renounced order, Kutichak, Bahudak, and Hansa, and attained the highest status of Paramahansa, in which I have remained for some time. In Varanasi, I adopted a vow of silence and abided by those statements that Sri Shankaracharya proclaimed to be the Mahavakya, chief axiom of the Vedas, Aham Brahmasmi, Pradyananam Brahma, and Tattvam Asi. However, the happiness and spiritual satisfaction that I was supposed to find did not come to me. One day I saw Vaishnava Sadhu loudly singing about the pastimes of Sri Hari. I opened my eyes.
Singing loudly the pastime, underlined pastime. I'm giving class, I'm underlining, giving book also. What you understand, you do.
I opened my eyes and saw that he was bathed in three streams of tears, and in his ecstatic rapture, the hair of his body were standing on end. He was chanting the name Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda in a choked up voice, and as he danced, his feet slipped so that he fell on the ground again and again. When I saw him and heard his song, my heart filled with an indescribable ecstasy. Although that mystical experience was so overwhelming, in order to protect my status as a Paramahansa, I did not speak with him at all. Alas, fie on my rank and status, cursed be my destiny.
Fire in my
Rank and status. I'm a sannyasi. I don't talk to this Vaishnava.
Paramahansa Sanya.
He took the vow of silence. No? So he wasn't. But he could. But now he regrets. No? Cursed be my destiny. I don't know why, but since that day my heart has become attracted to Shri Krishna Chaitanya's lotus feet. Shortly thereafter, I became obsessed with the desire to find that Vaishnava Sadhu, but I could not see him anywhere. Never before had I experienced anything like the untamed bliss that I felt when I saw him and heard the holy name emanating from his mouth. After considerable thought, I concluded that the highest benefit for me would be to take shelter at the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. I left Kashi and went to the beautiful holy land of Sri Vrindavan Dham. There I saw many Vaishnavas uttering the names of Sri Rupa, Sanatan and Jiva Goswami in a mood of great lamentation. They were absorbed in meditation on the pastimes of Sri Radha Krishna, and they rolled on the ground chanting the name of Sri Navadvip. When I saw and heard this, a greed arose within me to behold the beautiful holy Dham of Navadvip. I circumambulated the 168 square miles of Sri Vraj Dham and came to Sri Mayapur just a few days ago. I heard of your glories in the town of Mayapur, so I have come today to take shelter of your lotus feet. Please fulfill my life's aspiration by making this servant an object of your mercy. Paramahansa Babaji Mahasaya took a blade of grass between his teeth. Weeping, he said, "O Sannyasi Thakur, I am absolutely worthless. I have uselessly spent my life filling my belly, sleeping and engaging in futile talks. It is true that I have taken up residence in this sacred place where Sri Krishna Chaitanya enacted his pastimes, but as the days fly by, I find myself unable to taste this thing known as Krishna Prem."
Underline this. No, Tattva Vichar. Krishna Prem. What you do? Not dropping like this. Mataji don't do it.
But as days fly by, I find myself unable to taste the thing known as Krishna Prem. You are so fortunate, for you have tasted this divine love merely by seeing a Vaishnava for just a moment. You have received the mercy of Krishna Chaitanya Dev. I will be very grateful if you will kindly remember this fallen wretch for a moment when you are tasting that prem. Then my life will become successful. Saying this, Babaji embraced the sannyasi and bathed him with his tears. When Sannyasi Maharaj thus touched the limbs of the Vaishnava, he experienced unprecedented bliss within his heart. He began to dance, and as he wept and as he danced, he began to sing. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Prabhu Nityananda, Premadasa Guru, Jaya Bhajananda. All glories to Shri Krishna Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda. All glories to my divine master Premadas and to the bliss of Bhajan. Premadas Babaji and Sannyasi Thakur danced and performed kirtan for a long time. When they stopped, they spoke together on many topics. Finally, Premadas Babaji said very humbly, "O Mahatma, kindly stay here in Pradyumna Kunj for a few days just to purify me."
Yeah.
The sannyasi said, "I have offered my body at your lotus feet. Why do you speak of a few days only? Why do you speak of a few days only? My anxious prayer is that I may serve you until I give up this body." Sannyasi Thakur was an erudite scholar of all the Shastras.
Wow. All Shastra he knows.
He knew very well that if one stays in the residence of the Guru, one will naturally receive the Guru's instructions. So he took up residence in that grove with great delight.
Underline this. This is my class. From the words I write you note down. Teaching of the Jaiva Dharma.
After a few days, Paramahansa Babaji said to the elevated sannyasi, "O Mahatma, Sri Pradyumna Brahmachari has mercifully given me shelter at his lotus feet. At present, he lives in the village of Sri Devapali, on the outskirts of Sri Navadvip Mandala, where he is absorbed in the worship of Sri Nishingadev. Today, after collecting alms, let us go there and take darshan of his lotus feet." Sannyasi Thakur replied, "I will follow whatever instruction you give me." After 2 o'clock, they crossed the Alakananda river and arrived in Sri Devapali. Then they crossed the Suryatila river and took darshan of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associate Sri Pradumna Brahmachari, who was in the temple of Sri Nishingadev. From afar, Paramahansa Babaji fell to the ground and offered prostrated obeisances to his guru. Pradumna Brahmachari then came out of the temple, his heart melting with affection for his disciple. Lifting Paramahansa Babaji with both hands and embracing him very lovingly, he inquired about his welfare. After they had discussed topics concerning bhajan for some time, Paramahansa Babaji introduced Sannyasi Thakur to his guru. Brahmachari Thakur said with great respect, "My dear brother, you have obtained a most qualified guru. You should study the book Prem Vivarta under Premadas's direction. Whether one is a Brahmana, a sannyasi or a Shudra, if he is fully conversant with all the truths regarding transcendental knowledge of Sri Krishna, he can become a guru." Quote from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sannyasi Thakur humbly offered obeisances as the lotus feet of his Param Guru and said, "Prabhu, you are an associate of Sri Chaitanya Dev, and you can purify hundreds of arrogant sannyasis like me just by your merciful glance. Please bestow your mercy upon me." Sannyasi Thakur had no previous experience of the reciprocal behavior between Vaishnavas. However, he accepted the mutual dealings that he observed between his Guru and Param Guru as the Sat Achara, proper etiquette, that he himself should follow, and from that day on he behaved accordingly toward his own Guru without a trace of duplicity. When the evening arati was over, the Guru and the Shishya returned to Sri Godrum. A few days after residing in the Kunj, Sannyasi Thakur became anxious to inquire about spiritual truths from Paramahansa Babaji. By this time, the sannyasi had adopted all the ways of a Vaishnava, except for his outer dress. During his previous training, Sannyasi Thakur had developed qualities such as full control over his mind and senses, and had become firmly established in the conception of the non-dual, all-pervading, absolute Brahmanishta. In addition, he had now acquired staunch faith in the transcendental pastimes of Parabrahma Sri Krishna and had become deeply humble.
Pastime, not in Tattva. Again read this part.
He was firmly established in the conception of non-dual, all-pervading absolute.
Non-doer means I am not a doer. He practiced this. And not doer and
Non-dual, not two. Oneness, he was before, no?
yeah, one means
Advaita philosophy. Before.
and I am a doer he also. I am God. And Advaita.
Yeah. In addition, he had now acquired.
Yes.
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 In addition, he had now acquired staunch faith in the transcendental pastimes of Parabrahma Shri Krishna, and he became deeply humble.
Humble.
That means that before there was no humbleness. In the Advaita philosophy, I am God, we are one, everything is. There is no humbleness.
I am the teacher, I am the everything.
But now we have faith in the pastimes of Sri Krishna, and therefore he became humble also. Deeply humble. One morning, after performing ablutions at the break of dawn, Paramahansa Babaji sat in the Madhavi Grove, chanting Harinam on his Tulasi Mala. At that time, Sri Radha and Krishna Yugal's Nishanta Lila, their pastimes just prior to dawn, gradually manifested within his heart.
मिला
1.5 किलो कीड़े और 2 किलो और बड़ी मंडी से लाया हम ताजे हैं सारे और 100 रुपये किलो है तो ये 70 रुपये के है.
Sitting in meditation at the time when before the sun rises and the Leela of Radha Krishna is going on short time before they have to separate.
Yeah. This is not Tattva.
Because this was the time that Shri Radha and Krishna part from each other's company, leaving the Kunja to return to their respective homes. Paramahansa Babaji felt great pangs of separation, and tears of love streamed continuously from his eyes. While absorbed in meditation on this pastime, he was internally engaged in service appropriate for that period of the day in his perfected spiritual form. Thus, he had lost all awareness of his physical body.
Underline pastime from the past. Whole paragraph. The red line. Red.
While absorbed in meditation on this pastime, he was internally engaged in his service, appropriate for that period of the day in his perfected spiritual form. Thus he had lost all awareness of his physical body. Sannyasi Thakur was captivated by Babaji's state and sat beside him, observing his sattvika bhavas, his transcendental symptoms of ecstasy. Suddenly, Paramahansa Babaji said to him, "O Saki, silence Kakati at once, otherwise she will rouse Radha Govinda from their sleep of divine pleasure. Then Lalita Saki will become distressed and will rebuke me. Look there, Ananga Manjari is signaling for you to do this. You are Raman Manjari, and this is your designated service. Be attentive in this regard." So this is giving Sita Pranali to the disciple from Shri Gurudev. You are this, and this is your service. And this is your name.
Sit there. Underline this.
I thought maybe
Yes, I
underline.
was also waiting for it.
Teaching also.
So now he know one of his service, but this is not all service.
That you have to conclude. I give you my teaching.
But here,
Now I cannot say good and bad. You calculate. I'm giving my writing.
this was
No words, only their words.
Suddenly, Paramahansa Babaji said to him, "O Saki, silence Kakatiya at once, otherwise she will rouse Radha Govinda from their sleep of divine pleasure. Then Lalita Saki will become distressed and will rebuke me. Look there, Ananga Manjari is signaling for you to do this. You are Ramana Manjari and this is your designated service. Be attentive in this regard." After uttering these words, Paramahansa Babaji fell unconscious.
Radhe.
From that moment, Sannyasi Maharaj, now acquainted with his spiritual identity and service, engaged himself accordingly. Thus, the day dawned and the morning light spread its luster in the east. Birds began chirping melodiously in every direction and a gentle breeze blew. The extraordinary beauty of the Madhavi Grove of Pradyumna Kunj, illuminated by the crimson rays of the rising sun, was beyond description. Paramahansa Babaji was seated on a cushion of banana bark. As he gradually regained external consciousness, he began to chant Shri Nam on his beads. Sannyasi Thakur then offered prostrated obeisances to Babaji's feet, sat next to him, and with folded hands spoke with great humility. "O Prabhu, O Master, this destitute soul wishes to submit a question before you. Kindly reply and pacify my anguished heart. May you be pleased to infuse Vraj Ras into my heart, which has been scorched by the fire of Brahma Gyan.
Again.
May you be pleased to infuse Vraj Ras into my heart, which has been scorched by the fire of Brahm Gyan."
Underline. Red color.
Babaji replied, "You are a fit candidate. Whatever question you ask, I will answer as far as I am able." Sannyasi Thakur said, "For a long time I have heard of the preeminence of Dharma. On numerous occasions I have asked the question, 'What is Dharma?' to so many people. It is a cause of distress to me that the answers those people have given contradict each other. So please tell me, what is the true constitutional Dharma of the Jivas? And why do different teachers explain the nature of Dharma in such diverse ways? If Dharma is one, why don't all learned teachers cultivate that one universal Dharma, which is without a second?" Paramahansa Babaji meditated upon the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chaitanya and began to speak. "O most fortunate one, I shall describe to you the principle of Dharma as far as my knowledge allows. An object is called a Vastu, and its eternal nature
Vastu means the gold. Yeah.
and its eternal nature is known as its Nitya Dharma. Nature arises from the elementary structure of an object. By Krishna's desire, when an object is formed, A particular nature is inherent in that structure as an eternal concomitant factor. This nature is the Nitya Dharma of the object.
Object, not free. Then my goal is not free. The center is not free. Nitya Dharma will not start. Vastu has to free. What is my subject? Radha Darshan is my subject. This is my subject. Somebody has a Vastu, like a mother Jasoda has a Vastu, that he is a Gopal, is a baby, and I am mother. Somebody like only Krishna and he wants to enjoy with Krishna, loving with Krishna. He follows Gopya. Narayan Maharaj says yes to Gopya. Right? The Vastu has to fit what I want to do.
The nature of a given object becomes altered or distorted when a change takes place within it, either by force of circumstances or due to contact with other objects. With the passage of time, this distorted nature becomes fixed and appears to be permanent, as if it were the eternal nature of the object.
It is so complicated. Understand? This is philosophy. What you cannot understand. Try to understand. Read 3 times to understand, explain.
My understanding that the object...
No, read again.
The nature of a given object becomes altered or distorted when a change takes place within it, either by force of circumstances or due to contact with other objects. With the passage of time, this distorted nature becomes fixed and appears to be permanent, as if it were the eternal nature of that object. This distorted nature is not the svabhav, the true nature. It is called nisarga, that nature which is acquired through long-term association. This nisarga occupies the place of the factual nature and becomes identified as the svabhav.
Explain.
It means the Vastu is the object. So we think, what is the object? I am the Jiva.
What is your object?
Or I am this material body.
No, what is your object?
The understanding. My understanding.
Yeah. And that person read more and explain outline.
This distorted nature is not the svabhav, the true nature. It is called nisarga, the nature which is acquired through long-term association. This nisarga occupies the place of the factual nature and becomes identified as the svabhav. For example, water is an object and its svabhav is liquidity. When water solidifies due to certain circumstances and becomes ice, the acquired nature of solidity takes the place of its inherent nature. In reality, this acquired nature is not eternal, rather it is occasional or temporary. It arises because of some cause and when that cause is no longer effective, this acquired nature vanishes automatically. However, this svabhav is eternal. It may become distorted, but it still remains inseparably connected to its object, and the original nature will certainly become evident again when the proper time and circumstances arise. The svabhav of an object is its nitya dharma, eternal function, while its acquired nature is its naimittic dharma, occasional function. Those who have true knowledge of objects, vastu gyan, can know the difference between eternal and occasional function, whereas those who lack this knowledge consider acquired nature to be the true nature, and they consequently mistake the temporary dharma for eternal dharma.
This is the philosophy. And you see that rag and philosophy both is there. Loving and philosophy. But it's easy to do. What your nature is.
What is it that is called Vastu, and what is the meaning of Svabhav? Asked Sannyas Thakur. Paramahansa Babaji said, the word Vastu is derived from the Sanskrit verbal root vas, which means to exist or to dwell. The verbal root becomes a noun when the suffix tu is added. Therefore, Vastu means that which has existence or which is self-evident. There are two types of Vastu, Vastava and Arastava. The term truly abiding substance refers to that which is grounded in transcendence. Temporary objects, avastava vastu, are dravya, solid objects, guna, qualities, and so on. Real objects have eternal existence. Unreal objects only have a semblance of existence, which is sometimes real and sometimes unreal. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, only a truly abiding substance which is related to the Supreme Absolute Truth and which yields supreme auspiciousness is worthy of being known. From this statement it is clearly understood that the only real substance is that which is related to the Supreme Transcendence.
Wow. Related to.
Sri Bhagavan is the only real entity. The living entity is a distinct or individual part of that entity, while Maya, the potency that produces illusion, is the energy of that entity. Therefore, the word Vastu refers to three fundamental principles: Bhagavan, Jiva, and Maya. Knowledge of the mutual relationship between these three principles is known as pure knowledge, Shuddha Gyan. Shuddha Gyan. There are innumerable apparent representations of these three principles, and they are all regarded as avastava vastu, unreal substances. The classification of phenomena into various categories such as dravya, objects, and guna, qualities, which is undertaken by the Vaisheshika school of philosophy, is merely a deliberation on the nature
What?
To make a differences. Deliberate means to
Check in computer.
deliberation.
Befreien, niet van bevrijen.
Ah,
Make free.
liberation means and deliberation.
Manipulating.
Yeah.
Makes free. Liberation is the opposite from
See
liberation.
in computer.
Deliberation, yes. Beratung. Beratung. In German is Beratung, but I cannot explain.
Beratung means give
Give advice.
an advice, yes.
Read again line.
Meint das Sigaretten sind
The classification of phenomena into various categories such as dravya objects, guna qualities, which is undertaken by the Vaisheshika school of philosophy, is merely a deliberation on the nature of avastava vastu, temporary objects. The special characteristic of any truly abiding substance is its factual nature. The jiva is a real entity, and his eternal characteristic quality is his true nature. Sannyasi Maharaj said, Prabhu, I want to understand this topic very clearly. Babaji Mahasaya replied, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who was an object of the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, showed me a manuscript that he had written with his own hand. Sriman Mahaprabhu has instructed us on this subject in the book named Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita as follows. Jivara Svarupar Hoy Krishnera Nityadas Krishnera Tatashta Shakti Beda Beda Prakash. The constitutional nature of the jiva is to be an eternal servant of Sri Krishna. He is the marginal potency of Krishna and is a manifestation simultaneously one with him and different from him. The jiva who has forgotten Krishna has been preoccupied with the external potency since time without beginning. Consequently, Krishna's illusory potency gives him misery in the form of material existence. Krishna is the complete transcendental substance. He is often compared to the sun of the spiritual realm, and the jivas are compared to the sun's atomic particles of light. Jivas are innumerable. When it is said that they are individual parts of Krishna, it does not mean that they are like the pieces of stone that form a mountain. Although innumerable jiva portions emanate from Sri Krishna, he is not diminished by this in the slightest. For this reason, the Vedas have compared the jiva in one respect to sparks emanating from a fire. In reality, no adequate comparison can be made. No comparison, whether to sparks of a blazing fire, atomic particles within the rays of the sun, or gold produced from powerful mystic jewels, is completely appropriate. The true nature of the jiva is easily revealed in the heart, but only when the mundane conception of these comparisons is given up. Krishna is infinite spiritual substance, whereas the jivas are infinitesimal spiritual substance. The oneness of Krishna and the jivas lies in their spiritual nature, but they are undoubtedly different as well, because their natures are complete and incomplete respectively. Krishna is the eternal Lord of the jivas, and the jivas are Krishna's eternal servants. This interrelationship is natural. Krishna is the attractor and the jivas are attracted. Krishna is the supreme ruler and the jivas are ruled. Krishna is the observer and the jivas are observed. Krishna is the complete whole and the jivas are poor and insignificant. Krishna is the supreme powerful, whereas the jiva has no power. Therefore, the eternal svabhav or dharma of the jiva is Krishna dasya, eternal service and obedience to Krishna. Krishna is endowed with unlimited potencies. His complete potency, Purna Shakti, is perceived in the manifestation of the spiritual world. Similarly, his marginal potency is observed in the manifestation of the jivas.
Again.
Krishna is endowed with unlimited potencies. His complete potency, Purna Shakti, is perceived in the manifestation of the spiritual world. Similarly, his marginal potency is observed in the manifestation of the jivas. This special potency, known as Tatashta Shakti, accomplishes the function of the finite world. The Tatashta Shakti, marginal potency, creates an entity, Vastu, that exists between the animate objects and the unanimate objects, and which can maintain a relationship with both the spiritual and material world. Purely transcendental entities are by nature quite the opposite of inanimate objects, and therefore have no connection whatsoever with them. Although the jiva is an animate spiritual particle, he is capable of a relation with inanimate matter, because of the influence of the divine potency known as Tatashta Shakti. The boundary region between land and the water of a river is known as a tata, the bank. This tata may be considered to be both land and water. In other words, it is situated in both. The divine Tatashta Shakti, which is situated in the border region, upholds the properties of both land and water, as it were, in one existential entity. The jiva's nature is spiritual, but still his composition is such that he can become controlled by dull matter. Therefore, the conditioned soul is not beyond all connection with matter, unlike the jivas in the spiritual domain. Nonetheless, he is distinct from dual matter because of its animate spiritual nature. Since the jiva is by nature different from both the purely spiritual entities and from dual matter, he is classified as a separate principle. Therefore, the eternal distinction between Bhagavan and the jiva must be accepted. Bhagavan has full control over Maya, his external potency which creates illusion, for he is its supreme ruler. The jiva, on the other hand, may under certain circumstances be controlled by Maya, for he is subject to its influence. Hence, these three principles, Bhagavan, the jiva and Maya, are real and eternal. Of these three, Bhagavan is the supreme eternal principle and is the foundation of the other principles. The following statement confirms this. He is the supreme eternal amongst all eternals and the fundamental sentient being among all sentient beings. The jiva is by nature both an eternal servant of Krishna and the representation of his marginal potency. This demonstrates that the jiva is distinct from Bhagavan, yet at the same time is not separate from him. He is therefore a manifestation that is both different and non-different. Beda Abed Prakash. The jiva is subject to domination by Maya, whereas Bhagavan is the controller of Maya. On the other hand, the jiva and Bhagavan are non-different because by their constitutional nature they are both transcendental entities. Moreover, the jiva is a special potency of Bhagavan. Herein lies the eternal non-distinction between these two. Where eternal distinction and non-distinction are found at one and the same time, eternal distinction takes prominence. The Nitya Dharma of the jiva is servitorship to Krishna. When he forgets this, he is subjected to the tyranny of Maya, and from that very moment he becomes opposed to Krishna. The fall of the jiva does not take place within the context of material time. Accordingly, the words anadi bahirmukha are used, meaning that the jiva has been diverted since time without beginning. From the moment of this diversion and the jiva's entry into Maya, his Nitya Dharma becomes perverted. Therefore, by the association of Maya, the jiva develops nisarga, an acquired nature, which that facilitates the display of his temporary function and disposition, naimittic dharma. The Nitya Dharma, eternal function, is one, indivisible and faultless in all different situations, but the naimittic Dharma, temporary function, assumes many different forms when seen in diverse circumstances and when it's described in various ways by men of divergent opinions. Having spoken thus, Paramahansa Babaji stopped and began to chant Sri Harinam Japa. Hearing this explanation of spiritual truths, Sannyasi Thakur offered prostrated obeisances and said, Prabhu, I shall deliberate on all these topics today. Tomorrow I shall submit at your lotus feet any questions that may arise. Thus ends the first chapter of Jaiva Dharma.
Lodi. When you not decide which way to go, this way, this way, this way, this way.
I am tired now, Gurudev. I need to take shower and
Thank you, Gorachandaya.
You become tired.
you give
by
me
it.
so much pain by you see one 1/10 of the book I'm already reading, and I'm completely out of mind now.
Yes.
I go to Rishikesh now.
Many philosophy, no? Many philosophy. We have to enter Rasa Gurudeva.
They do like a clothes washing. Philosophy makes you the beating. Go to the savan man, beating the clothes. This is philosophy.
All the time I think, oh, I hope not tomorrow.
Don't.
Maybe better to read Virapax Manjari Gurudeva.
Yes, that's too much.
Otherwise too much philosophy, no? Gurudev becomes sleepy.
Yes.
No, he's teaching, nah? What to do when
Yes.
this comes. Then you go in and Radhe.
So we are Tatasta. We can select which way we want, which bus we can select,
Yeah.
which goal we can select. So we can be Radha Darshan also. We can be also Krishna Dasi, Krishna Das also, or Krishna Dasi also.
Yeah.
And so which one we want. But the problem is our bus is always moving. Gurudev say ping pong. Sometimes we are rasa in, and mother and son, Vasara rasa. Sometimes we are in Dasya rasa. Sometimes we are like, say, Madhura rasa. But we want to become Saki or something.
Right.
So, but we are ping pong. Many Vaishnava saying so many philosophy. So therefore, our bus always kind of ping pong.
All is not good.
So we have to fix at first goal, and then later on.
Yeah. We need to fix our vastu, our object.
Yes. Otherwise you
Radha Das.
Yes.
This is.
Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda